guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and today we're here to rank our 13 days of horror. So all 13 of the movies that we watched that we set at the beginning of the month in the video that we did, we're going to be ranking here today. And
we are. I'm excited.
This is the first time since 2021 when we started doing this that we're actually successful. So
I know.
High five.
High five.
We
you know, thanks to me, we got a head start. And I still feel like we came in, you know, kind of at the last minute completing it.
It was a little close. I didn't expect it would be because it was like we were at the beginning of the month.
on top of it. Yeah.
Beginning of the October, I think we were already halfway done. I was like, oh, we'll get through this in a breeze. But came down to the wire.
But yeah, we're here to rank them, and this is always fun for me because we don't share our ranking with each other, and so it's always a surprise for me what your ranking is and vice versa. So yeah, super fun. Yeah,
and these are fun rankings because they're different kinds of movies. It's not like the same director, same franchise, stuff like that. So it's fun to see where they fall, you know, on your list. So, all right, but before we get into it, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already.
Like this video.
Like the video, like she said. And then leave us a comment down below. What do you think about these films? What do you think about our rankings of these films? Let us know in the comment section below, whatever you want to comment.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start with you. Ladies first.
All
What's
right,
your number 13?
I'm going to turn my little cheat sheet over here. So my number 13 is, you know, unfortunately, what you said it would be, and it was Torso.
Oh, not Torso.
It was Torso, and it's not because of why you probably think that it is.
Nudity?
You know, I feel like for you, the rewatch, I don't think you remember Torso correctly.
Probably not. It does get very, like, gruesome towards the end, but the entire movie isn't that.
In my opinion, it does not. I just feel like this movie was honestly quite boring.
Yeah.
I know that it is like a different type of style or whatever. Whatever, not my thing. You told me that it wasn't going to be my thing.
Also,
because hold on, this is my
okay. I wanted
this
to
is my rating here.
Right.
But you can talk about it wherever you put it.
Okay.
But I just, you know, it's not my style. I hate it when you're right, but it just, I don't know. I feel like it was boring. It's just not like gruesome enough for me, I guess. I don't know. It's just different. I thought it was too long. Just a lot of nothing going on, honestly.
I was just gonna say you got to keep in mind it was 1973. This was before like the slashers really started heating up. This is really before the giallo genre really started heating up as well. So I think for its time, it was pretty gruesome. There was stuff in the movie that you didn't really see. You know,
well, this is a ranking on personal enjoyment.
Okay,
so I will just quickly say though, I will give it that it was a good whodunit, who is it type of movie. It did keep me guessing like who the killer was. But other than that, All right, what's your number 13?
Well, first off, I want to point out that there was no real bad movies that we watched. I thought they were all fairly enjoyable for what they were. But something has to come in number 13, that was What Lies Beneath. Is my number 13.
Okay.
It kills me. It's Robert Zemeckis. Like, I feel like I saw this back in the day and enjoyed it, but rewatching, I'm like, I don't know if I watched it back in the day or not. I couldn't really remember anything. But
interesting.
I just wasn't interested in the story, and because I wasn't interested in the story, it just felt very long and boring and drawn out and. I don't know. I just didn't enjoy this. I didn't really buy into Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer as husband and wife.
If I remember correctly, though, I feel like you were tired when you watched it.
I was, which can sometimes affect, you know, how I view a movie. But also, I watch a lot of movies tired, and some I can really get into when I'm tired. So,
all right, moving right along here. We got to keep you. We got 13 movies.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 12 is Prom Night.
Okay.
Prom Night, you know, it was fine, but again, I thought it was kind of boring, a little underwhelming, not a lot going on. I thought it was okay. There's not a ton of, from what I remember, there's not like a ton of, you know, like scenes where the killer's doing stuff.
You know, it's Jamie Lee Curtis post Halloween, so you know, obviously it's not going to live up to that, but.
Well, I'm not the biggest Halloween fan anyway.
Yeah,
so anyway, yep. What you got?
My number 12 is The Dark and the Wicked.
Okay, I knew you didn't like it.
No, it's not that I didn't like it. These are fine movies. Like, every movie is okay. Like, it's not bad. But I don't know, for the hype this one got, I felt like it was hyped up pretty high as being like almost like Hereditary or something in terms of how scary it was. I didn't find it that scary. I didn't find the performances all that good, and I kind of felt like it was a little cheap in its production. So, which it probably was, to be fair, but I don't know. I just didn't enjoy that one all that much. Okay. That's my number 12.
All right. Let's see. My number 11 is, I'm kind of sad to say this, but Final Destination 2.
Okay.
Honestly, rewatching this one, I don't know how many times I've seen this, but just watching this one, I don't know, it just wasn't as good as I remembered. Yeah. There are some, like, there's a couple of good, like, what the, scenes or whatever, like the glass, smashing the kid, after the dentist. Yeah. Of course, the iconic log scene, which I feel like has kind of lost its shock factor.
You still ain't gonna follow behind no log truck though anytime soon. I tell you that.
It did, set the precedent. For not wanting to be behind that kind of truck. I will give it that. But yeah, it just wasn't as good as I remembered. So there you go.
That's fair. My number 11 is Idle Hands.
Okay.
I actually really enjoy this movie like a lot.
Yeah.
But for everything else that's on the list, I just enjoyed that more. But it's dumb fun, and it's set on Halloween, so it's a nice Halloween watch as well. And I enjoyed it, but some had to come in number 11.
Okay, so my number 10, which don't come for me. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this one.
Wow.
But it's Halloween 3.
Oh, okay.
Season of
the
the
Witch. That was the first one we watched. I thought you enjoyed that one.
It just wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
a little bit more
I knew I'm not like one of the people who thought Michael Myers was in it. It's not that kind of. It wasn't.
No, you thought that the kids were going to be the killers. That's what you thought it was.
I thought that the mask were going to it was going to be like a Goosebumps, haunted mask type of thing. So it just wasn't exactly what I was hoping for, I guess. I don't know. It was a little underwhelming for me personally, but it's still fun. But
at least you weren't like me when I was a kid. I thought Michael Myers was going to be in the movie.
Right. Well, I knew that because of you, but.
Okay, so my number 10 is Final Destination 2.
Okay.
So not far off from you, but I enjoyed this movie actually like a lot more than I remembered, because this is one that I didn't return to very often. I always watch the first one and the third one.
Right.
This movie's got a lot of deaths. Like, I feel like it's a death like every 5 minutes or something. So I appreciated it for that. I thought it was fun and energetic and kept a good pace. So yeah, I enjoy Final Destination 2. That's my number 10.
Okay. Let's see here. So my number 9 is Idle Hands.
Okay.
We're kind of like a little bit similar here with Final Destination and Idle Hands.
Yeah, Final Destination and Idle Hands, like, they're goofy, like, quick, fun watches.
Idle Hands, like you said, it's a lot of fun. It does really good at, mixing the horror and comedy. I don't know, I just felt like the story is, like, pretty decent, too. I don't know, I just don't remember, like, ever getting, like, too bored with it or anything. I feel like it had a good pace. And
they're party movies,
Yeah, and I just thought that it also, like, the makeup and stuff is just, like, pretty good, honestly.
Really dope, yeah. Seth Green.
But it's like, I don't know how to explain it. It's, like, done in a, like, fun way, too.
Head. Yeah, it's not disgusting, but it also kind of looks realistic
it's,
at the same
real
time.
And fun at the same time. I don't know. It's a weird thing, but anyway. All right.
Yeah. I'm on my number 9. My number 9 is
number 9, yeah.
Dark Knight of the Scarecrow.
Aww.
I actually thought I would get this one a little bit higher because I enjoyed this one quite a bit. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it. I thought it was a good story. I thought it had good performances. It's a made-for-TV movie in the 80s. And I enjoyed it. I couldn't get it above some of the other ones. So it comes in number 9.
I mean, there's a lot of iconic movies on our list.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
We know how you are with the, iconic
I gotta pay
classic.
Respect,
Okay, so my number 8 is Fade to Black. Okay. Honestly, I was surprised that this one was up as high as it was. because I'm not even quite sure that I liked it that much. But I had to like.
I got you thinking though.
But I had to like really give it credit for just the like creativity. Oh my gosh, this word is hard. Creativity. Mm-hmm. Creativity. I was gonna say creativeness. I was gonna add like a extra syllable on there. Creativeness. Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
Words are hard, especially when you're in front of a camera filming a video.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very creative. I thought it was cool how this guy is just like a diehard, film lover. And, is it a spoiler to talk about what he does?
The masturbation sequence?
No, I'm not talking about that. Just that he, basically recreates.
He recreates movie scenes when
like,
he kills people. So
when he kills people, yeah.
It is very original. I do highly recommend. Like, even if we're not like super high on it,
yeah,
which you'll see where it's at on my list. But I do recommend you watch it for sure.
Yeah, he just he totally got into that character, and you just believe that he's mentally unwell.
My number 8 was Torso.
Okay.
And I like Torso a lot. Like I said, I've liked a lot of these movies. But I will say, I don't think it's one of the greatest giallos, which for some reason in my mind it was before I watched it.
Yeah.
I do think the last 30 minutes are really good, but that doesn't make the first hour any stronger.
Yeah.
So yeah, Torso, that's my number 8. I still enjoy it. I like the movie.
Okay, let's see here. My number 7 is Reanimator.
Okay.
Reanimator.
Yeah, that's a little low for Reanimator. That's iconic.
If you watched our review, it just made me feel icky, uncomfortable. I don't like the realistic dead bodies being in a morgue, coming back to life. I don't know, it just it's too realistic for me, and it just gives me, I don't know, it's just I don't like it. But it is, other besides that, it is very it's a cool movie, it's a cool movie, cool plot and everything. I appreciate the aestheticness of it, the vibe, it's fun. So
yeah. My number 7 is Fade to Black. So it wasn't far off from you.
Okay.
I like this movie a lot. It's really grimy and seedy and kind of reminded me of a 70s kind of noir movie. It was, even though it was made in the 80s, it still had that 70s aesthetic. Like most movies that were made in 1980 still have that 70s look and feel to it.
Yeah.
And I just like movies from that time period a lot. So I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was very creative. There was just some things in it plot-wise that didn't quite come together for me.
Mm-hmm.
But, and it had Eddie Spaghetti in it from It 1990, and that was one of my favorite movies growing up, so it was cool to see him in another role. So, yeah, I highly recommend it, though. I think it's on Tubi if you guys want to check it out, but Fade to Black.
Okay, my number 6 is The Blob.
Okay. Oh, The Blob in number 6.
The Blob. I thought that this one was fun. We watched it very early into our list. So, that was a first time watch for me. So it's iconic and popular and whatever as The Blob is, it's already kind of far from my mind a little bit. I don't know. I guess I just didn't I don't know, maybe because I didn't grow up with it or something. I don't know. No. It's a blob. It's hard for me to think too seriously about a blob of pink slime.
That blob is mean and nasty, though.
Yeah. There were some cool scenes. It was basically an acid or something, right? It would melt people's faces off and stuff. Some of the CGI or whatever. And once the blob really gets growing, was kind of funny. But anyway, it was fine.
All right, so my number 6 is Reanimator. All
right.
So I enjoy Reanimator. It's not far from where you put it. It's an iconic horror film. It's got some disturbing sequences. I was kind of taken aback watching it, just how disturbing it actually is as a movie.
Well, we talked about this in our review. You remembered it as being more comical, and you're like, it actually isn't.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be that's a fun, goofy horror comedy, and I was like, damn, this, it is kind of, some parts are meant to be taken comedic, but I'm like, it's kind of not funny. It's kind of actually really disturbing what's going on here. But I still really enjoy the movie. Music by Richard Ban. is a great score.
Okay.
So I enjoyed the music in the movie.
All right.
But I do.
Okay. Let's see here. What was that?
My number 6.
Okay. My number 5 is The Lost Boys.
Okay, that's high.
I mean, sure. Yeah, The Lost Boys, I thought, I didn't want to like this movie, if I'm being honest, because it is so, like, popular and just, like, in my face all the time, I feel like. It just seems like, I don't know, I really missed the nostalgia train with this one. Like, everyone just talks so highly on it and being so nostalgic for it and whatever. So I was happy to finally see it. I didn't like love it by any means, but it did like surprise me. I thought that everybody was like really good in it, and yeah.
Well, sometimes every now and then a movie is popular for a reason.
Yeah, I guess so.
It is popular for a reason. So my number 5 is Prom Nights. I was actually kind of surprised that it got up this high, but I actually really liked this movie. The more I thought about it, the more I liked it.
Interesting. Okay.
I don't know, like this is kind of the same as Fade to Black. It was made in 1980. It just has a real like 70s style to it. There's something about that like disco music that they play at the end, and just that whole sequence that kind of reminded me of like Saturday Night Fever, and it just made me enjoy the movie more. And I do think it's kind of
supposed to be a horror movie.
It is supposed to be a horror movie, but I do think it's a good slasher and it's a good mystery. And even though, like, I kind of had an idea, like, who the killer was, I didn't really. And I thought how they revealed it and how they did it, it made sense. And it was also kind of shocking at the same time.
Yeah.
And you don't always get that. So and Jamie Lee Curtis, I thought was really good in it. And I don't know. I liked it. I like the setup to it. And I just like the whole vibe of the movie.
I did forget about it being kind of like another whodunit type of.
Yeah.
Like,
and
who is the killer?
Yeah, I also watched, there's a documentary on my Blu-ray. After we got done watching, I watched that, and they talked about the music, how they couldn't get actual, like, disco songs in the movie, so they had to, like, make their own, like, original disco soundtrack. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Okay.
So that's my number 5.
You're just adding all kinds of little random facts here. My number 4 is The Fly.
Okay.
The Fly, I don't feel like I necessarily talked about it as highly as you would think I would have for putting it at number 4. But I guess when you throw it against everything else, it's still up there.
Yeah.
This movie was the special effects were just like everything for me, because if you watch our review, I wasn't like necessarily that sold on like the love story and everything. But just seeing him turn into a fly alone was just pretty cool, and I could have watched a lot more of it. So
yeah, I agree. That might end up on my list later.
Well, it definitely is. Cause...
Well, I haven't said it yet. Number 4 for me is The Lost Boys.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't think I would get The Lost Boys this high, but the more I got to thinking about it, I was like, you know what, that movie is pretty good, and I enjoy it quite a bit. Okay. I enjoyed it more this time than I did the first time I watched it. So yeah, it's an iconic movie for a reason, and I really enjoy it too. So it's my number 4.
All right. So my number 3 here is The Dark and the Wicked. I know you apparently hated it, but I thought that this movie was like very atmospheric. Honestly, I'm really surprised that you didn't like it as much, because usually this is like, I feel like this is your type of movie.
On paper, I should have liked it.
Yeah, it gave me the Witch vibes, or what do you call it? The Vitch? Do you call it the Vitch?
Yeah, but what it gave me was a movie trying to copy the Witch vibes.
I didn't get that at all.
That's what it gave me.
I felt like it was, to me, it felt original. Maybe not like completely original. We've seen this type of movie before, like some kind of like demonic, demon out there. The only thing that I would say is I had wished that it had, I don't know, there's a part of me that wished they had shown the actual, demon or the devil or whatever you want to say it was, because we got like little pieces of it here and there. But then again, I think that wasn't really the point. It was to stay like the devil or the whatever. It can be whatever you want it to be. Like it doesn't need to have an actual physical representation or something.
Yeah.
Just very atmospheric. I thought it was pretty creepy.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Okay.
My number 3 is Halloween 3.
Okay.
So like I said, I didn't enjoy this one when I was a kid, but it is one that I don't know, actively, I guess, try to rewatch every Halloween season. It does really feel like Halloween, and it gives me those Halloween vibes. So I think it's a fun holiday movie, and
Okay.
I love the music. I've said it before, but might be like my favorite John Carpenter score. I just think it's great. So yeah, I love the vibe of the movie. So Halloween 3 is my number 3.
All right, my number 2 is What Lies Beneath.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is my type of movie, just like a psychological thriller. Like, I just eat that shit up.
I didn't realize you liked it so much.
Yeah, it was a little long, but I say that about a lot of movies, most movies, if I'm being honest. So I try not to hold that against it. But yeah, I just thought that I did like the story. For me, it was good, and it just reminded me of like a book that I would have read, or just like a true crime documentary. I don't know. It just seemed like very, I don't know. It was cool. I thought it was good.
You know what it felt like to me? It felt like it would have been like a good limited series. I feel like there was enough meat on the bone to make like I felt like there was parts that were just a little bit too rushed, and there wasn't like enough progression and build up.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I don't know. I just liked it because it was a mixture of like, real and like supernatural, and
like there's a certain character turn in the movie that I just couldn't buy into because it didn't feel realistic to that character. I feel like if I would have got more time with him and it was a little bit more gradual in its progression, I would have enjoyed it more.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So,
all right.
My number 2 is The Fly.
Yeah.
Because it's the frickin' Fly, and it's one of the most iconic horror movies of all time. But no, I love The Fly. It's got great special effects. I think it's a great story. I think it has great performances.
Is it a great story?
The performances are good. I understand like what you're saying about like not completely buying into their relationship in the movie.
I'm saying the story. Is the story really that good?
I think this. Well, it's a basic story, and it moves very quickly. It picks up very quickly. But I think that I don't know. I do think the performances are great, and I think that it really elevates the material on screen.
I mean, hey, I had a number 4, so I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, The Fly is great. It's an all-time horror film, so that's my number 2.
All right. So that leaves me with my number 1, and that is what I'm sure you thought it was going to be, The Dark Knight of the Scarecrow. Thank you, Allie, if you're watching. Yeah, this was a first-time watch for both of us, right?
Yep.
And I don't know, maybe because we watched it early on in our list, I don't know, but now I just feel like this is going to be one of those nostalgic movies for me. I just thought this one had a good mixture of like spooky and heart. I don't know, I just felt
spooky heart.
Yeah, spooky heart. I just felt like it was like just a really nice balance. And I don't know. I just really enjoyed it.
You know what's funny about this movie? I think it was maybe the only one on our list that we watched during the day. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if that like lended to your enjoyment, because you talked about me watching the movie when I was tired, and you get tired a little bit later at night. So I wonder if that factored in any way at all.
I don't think so.
The fact that it was the daytime.
No, I thought that it was good.
Okay, all right, fair enough. I just wanted to throw that out there. My number 1 is The Blob.
Okay.
This Look, The Blob, people know The Blob is an all-time great horror film. A lot of people would say...
Hold on. I need to talk about this really quickly. So you mean to tell me that Ken's list of most enjoyable was The Blob? I don't buy it.
No, it was.
You ranked
this
these,
particular list.
You ranked
against these movies, I put The Blob above all these. I thought about this. Would The Blob be on my top 50 horror films of all time? I honestly don't know. I think it probably would, but I don't know how high up it would be on it. Mm-hmm. But on this list of this particular group of movies, The Blob is number 1. Mm-hmm. I've been watching The Blob since I was a kid. I've grown up with The Blob. Mm-hmm. I go back and rewatch The Blob like every few years. Okay. And every time I rewatch this movie, I just am like, damn, this movie doesn't get enough respect. It doesn't get enough attention that it deserves. And I just think it's one of the greatest horror films of the 80s, and it's a remake, and I think it's one of the greatest remakes. I'm not saying it's as good as The Thing, but I think it's better than people give it credit for. And I just think it's better every single time I rewatch it. I just learn to appreciate it in a different way. I think, it has great practical effects. I like the story a lot. I like the little twist they kind of throw in the first 20 minutes. You think this guy's going to be the main character, and then this guy's the main character instead. I just think it's really cool. It has balls, and it's not afraid to kill anybody at any moment, any time. Kids, it doesn't matter.
True. Yeah.
So I love The Blob. I do think it's one of the greatest horror films of the 80s. So that
right,
is my number one, definitively.
I'm just making sure that you didn't rank these based on, iconicness or...
No, because I think most people, you're ranking this list on iconicness. I think like The Fly and Lost Boys would be like 2 and 1. And I thought about maybe putting The Fly at number 1 just because it is the most iconic, and I do love the movie. But I'm like, you know what? I think I just like The Blob more. So I switched it up the last second, put The Blob number 1.
Okay, well, you questioned my love for the Dark Knight of the Scarecrow, so it was only fair that I questioned
it was
the
fair.
Blob.
It was fair.
All right, well, there's our ranking.
You don't know what to say, do you? I do find it fun.
When people say that we rate things the same, we don't.
Your 2 and 3 were literally my 13 and 12.
I know, yeah.
But other than that, like our list, we did have some similarities in there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
But that's our ranking of our 13 Days of Horror. Thank you all so much for following us on this journey. We appreciate it.
We are done. Goodbye, Halloween 2024. Till next year. See us next year, Halloween 2025, when we return. Of course, we'll be back, to do other videos in between. But thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.